Okay, so quickly, because my phone's not going to last very long. Um, Now, I'm going to just say spoilers because we haven't talked about this part of the movie, but there is a part of the movie where she ends up having her baby. She goes into labor and she has her baby, and the father is just thrilled because he's viewing this as a child sacrifice, right? Totally culty and really, really disgusting and disturbing to watch. It was hard to watch. Um, so she has the baby. She labors in front of the rock, actually. She's on the ground, laboring and laboring, and she gives birth to her baby and wakes up kind of slowly, and she sees what she thinks is her brother holding the baby. And he's like, look at how cute she is, or he or she, look at how cute they are, look, they're so beautiful, and all this stuff. And um, is that when he feeds her some grass?
I think so.
And he figures she needs some nourishment, so he gives her some of the tall grass to eat. And at that point, you can kind of see it kind of goes like down into her body, and it shows like they're like vines, like the tall grass is like a vine, so it's wrapping around like her inner organs and stuff. Really creepy, right? Really creepy, right? Am I right? She passes out again. She wakes up, and is that when she realizes that it's not her brother, or does she still think it's her brother? No, she still thinks it's her brother, or it's Travis, her ex-boyfriend. And he tries to give her more tall grass, but he dips it in a liquid and to make it moist and feeds it to her. And you can see him feed her, and her lips are turning red. There's a red liquid around her lips, and that's when you kind of realize, and this gets really disgusting, so I'm sorry. I don't want to get too descriptive about it, but he's obviously feeding her not grass, not mud, but human stuff. But what isn't clear for me when I watched the movie was it her or was it her baby? She woke up again, and I think it was Tobin who says she's gone, or the baby's gone, or whatever, or one of the other characters states that. So that implies that either the child's father, killed the baby, or the baby was stillborn, or the baby died by some other means. Okay. It implies that. It doesn't show anything. Like, the grossest thing it shows is them feeding her tall grass, and then her lips getting all bloody as if the tall grass was living, like it was a living thing. So my question about that one was, what was the importance of including the scene after she had her baby, where she was being fed grass? Like, what was the purpose of that? And thinking back on it now, it's kind of incorporating her into the grass, which is a little weird because we had discussed, how Tobin touched the rock and he didn't go crazy and he didn't get stuck there forever, because he ends up getting out, right, in the very end.
Spoiler.
Well, I'm going to put spoilers, but the only reason I say that is because the last pothole was that the boyfriend basically sacrificed himself, touched the rock, figured out how to get out, grabbed Tobin, put him in the back of the church so that Tobin could run out of the church. And then he stopped the brother and sister from stopping. He's like, don't stop. Don't go in there. Don't go in the grass. I need to get home, or something like that. And my question was, why did the boyfriend remain alive since Tobin got out? Or did the boyfriend remain alive since Tobin got out and the girl and her brother never stopped there? Because if you remember, the boyfriend stopped there because the brother's car was there.
Right.
So he knew that his girlfriend was there, and he knew that she was pregnant. He was actually the reason that she wanted to give the baby up, is because he didn't want the baby or whatever.
Well, he was a musician, and he was like too cool for school type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that part was a little confusing for me. All in all, it was a pretty good movie. I mean, very campy, very 80s B movie, campy movie. But I do recommend watching it. absolutely recommend watching it. Out of 10 stars, what would you give it? Out of 5 stars, what would you give it?
I would give it probably a 4.
4 out of 5?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with 3 out of 5. I find the storyline, I think the book would probably be. Okay, so we had to take a little break because Ashley's phone decided to act like a piece of shit. Anyway, so I give that movie 3 out of 5 just because I feel like the book would be better. I am one of those diehard Stephen King. Like, I look, as a writer, I really look up to him. His book, he's just such a good writer. Like, who doesn't like Stephen, I guess if you don't like horror, but like, he's such a good writer. Even people who don't like his books could say that he's a very, very good author, you know? And I was talking to Jason about this a while back, that how many of his books have been turned into movies.
Yeah.
And it's just incredible. He's probably the most successful author in that perspective, just because it's like he writes a book and then a couple of years later it gets turned into a movie. Like, he's just, Stephen King is incredible.
You know, a lot of times he's involved with the process of the movie.
Not all the time. I have heard that he did not like the first version of The Shining, or there's a version of The Shining that he did not like. I think that's the version. I think Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, which is the most common one that we all see with Jack Nicholson. Yeah,
that's the one that
Stephen King doesn't like. No. I have read The Shining. It's a very good book. If you haven't read it, please read it. There is a couple scary movies. There's a couple scary moments in it, of course. It's a horror novel, but let's see, The Shining, and then Doctor Sleep is the sequel to that, isn't it?
Yes.
That one is really good too. I know that there's a TV show, but I haven't seen it. Anyway, we're getting on a Stephen King kick. But In the Tall Grass is I think it's a brilliant movie, and here's why. I feel like it's brilliantly representative of today's society and social media, and how we can all become so involved in social media that we get lost. We get lost in our own lives. And we end up reliving the same things over and over and over again because we're not learning, because we're not figuring things out, because we don't get off of social media, because we handle things on social media instead of off of social media, if that makes sense. I don't know if he meant it to be representative of that. I know George A. Romero, he's a zombie movie. He's done the original zombie movies. He's brilliant. He uses zombies to make statements in his movies. All his movies make statements about different things. And I don't know if that's true about Stephen King, but... And also, you have to take into consideration, too, that movies based on books means, okay, we took the book, and we may have taken the idea of the book, but now we're going to create our own thing. So, you don't know. I haven't read the book, so I don't know how well it follows the book or goes along with the book. If you've read the book that it's based on, and I don't know if it's called In the Tall Grass, but if you've read that book, please let me know what you thought of it. And please let me know, if you've read the book and you've seen the movie, how well the movie correlates with the book. Let's focus on Jason.
Yeah, like I said, I gave it a 4 out of 5. I thought it was very creative.
I've not seen a movie like that before.
Yeah.
And, there is Children of the Corn. And of course, people get lost in the cornfield, and then they become like sacrificed or whatever. It's been a minute since I've seen all the movies, but, but the kids live in the corn. It's if you haven't seen it, you need to see it. Okay. You need to see, and you need to watch them all, and you need to watch them all in order. Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But In the Tall Grass, I thought it was a very original idea. Number one, the plot line it's not what you expect. You watch the movie and you're thinking people go into the tall grass And we went, there's a pumpkin patch out here. Well, there's a
Couple of pumpkin patch.
couple pumpkin patches out here, but there's one that does this maze every year for Halloween. And it's in a cornfield or a pumpkin. No, it's a cornfield.
Cornfield, yeah.
And they kind of push down, the corn and you can follow different routes and everything. And it was kind of cool to walk through it. Kind of hard for me with my back, to be honest, because it took us so long. But I have to say, like, you would go crazy in there. Like, if you were in like a maze in a grass field, you would absolutely go insane just from walking around and trying to get out. A person could go insane. They could unalive themselves or try to unalive themselves. They could try to unalive other people, I mean, I could easily see how that could drive you crazy.
I know, I didn't understand the rock thing, though. Like, where did it come from? Where did it come from?
Where did it go? Where did it come from?
I know
no?
that-
Okay.
I know that there was, there was stuff inscribed on the rock, so...
It was kind of like a cave where you would see like carvings in the cave from ancient dwellers or something like that. The rock definitely had carvings in there. Those are never explained either. It's never explained what they mean. It's never explained what they are, where they came from, and I think that adds to it though. I mean, that was some of the plot holes that I found, because typically in a horror movie, you kind of start at the beginning and you kind of learn the history of it, or you start in the middle, right? And then there's flashbacks to the beginning and how we kind of got to where we are. And this one kind of does that, except it's still in a circle. Like, you kind of start in the middle with them pulling up to the grass field, and then you kind of learn that this isn't the first time that they've done that, and that it's just a circle. It keeps happening over and over again. So maybe that's all the vehicles in the parking lot. Maybe it's because it's been happening for so long.
Maybe.
It's their vehicles.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. But it's just the concept, like, it's a lot of unexpected things. There's a lot of things in the movie that I felt like, because they're not explained and it's not perfectly clear why it's happening, like her eating stuff after the baby's born, or, she births the baby, but then you don't hear about the baby at all, like, other than she thinks she sees her brother holding the baby and talking about how beautiful the baby is and everything like that. And then that's it. No more baby. There's no more mention of it in the rest of the movie, right? Other than, I think it's Tobin that says he killed her, or he killed him, he killed it. I don't know. Talking about his father had killed the baby. So it's implied that he unalived the baby. I shouldn't say the K word. YouTube doesn't like the K word. I'm not going to get monetized. I'm not monetized yet. But I don't know. I think the plot is interesting, and it's definitely worth a watch if you have Netflix. And it's still on there, which I think it should still be. If it's not, I'm sure you can buy it somewhere, because no, it's a Netflix original, isn't it? Yeah. So they'll keep it on Netflix.
Right.
Because the only reason Netflix gets rid of shows like The Office, which I'm still bitter about, Peacock.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's not okay. They took away my show.
But Netflix will have its originals.
Yeah, they rent the other shows from the original company, so. Anyway, if you have Netflix, definitely check it out. And if you didn't watch it, right, and you watch this video and you're like, they're a hot mess. That movie sounds like a hot mess. I need to watch it. And you watch it, let me know. Let us know what you think, please. Down in the comments below. Let me know if you like the movie, if you didn't like the movie, if you agreed with points that we talked about, if you didn't agree, if there's anything else that you noticed or picked up on. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts. I really am. You know, it's a different kind of movie. It's very cheesy and very campy. It's very like 80s horror movie, you know, where you know that there's going to be a scene where like cheerleaders, okay, are being chased by a killer, but then all of a sudden they look and they're, oh my gosh, I'm so sweaty, so I have to go in the high school locker room, which is dark, by the way, because the high school is closed. Or, I mean, the high school is open, but for some reason, like, it's all dark. The lights are all off. And they go and they take a shower in the dark locker room, and then that's when they get killed, right? It's very, very campy. Extremely. But it's not super predictable like those movies. So, it's worth a watch. Now, if you don't have Netflix, I would not say that it is worth buying Netflix for $17 just to watch this movie. No. I'm going to say that. I don't think it's worth it. I think that if you can have a friend where you can say, hey, I really want to watch this movie, a friend who has Netflix, hey, I really want to watch this movie, can I come over and watch it at your house? Or can we do like a watch party together? You know, can we watch together? Whatever. I would not pay $17 just to watch that. I know a lot of people have canceled Netflix because of their policies, and it is what it is. But you know, some of their shows are really good, some aren't so good. This one is okay. It's okay. It's it wasn't the best movie, but I still enjoyed it. And I let my 12-year-old watch it, okay? And he even was kind of like, what did I just watch? You know, but he was like, it's okay. You know, it's not super scary. To me, it wasn't scary enough that I wouldn't let him watch it. You know, there was no real sex scenes. Sometimes it's implied, but there's no nudity in it, is there?
I don't think so. I don't remember any.
There's probably a lot of language. But, yeah. Let me know if you watched the movie, if you liked it, if you didn't like it. Let me know all the things down below.
There's stuff that we left out, but...
Yeah, I didn't want to talk about everything just because I want you to go watch it for yourself. And I wanted to talk about the plot holes and what we thought about the movie, what I noticed particularly. So, like this video if you like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already to get notified whenever me or Jason uploads new content, because you never know what kind of content is going to pop up over here on this channel or his channel. We thank you so much for watching. We love you very, very much. And we will see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye. Should we give it time to catch up, maybe? Should we? Might end up cutting this all out. Might just leave it in there. If I left this in there, type a 2 in the comments. For 2 weirdos.
This is weird.
Awkward. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end it.